is Pan Am. This is set starting in 1926, I believe is the year. Let me just read. Pan Am was the world's first truly global airline. From its humble beginnings in 1927 as an airmail carrier, Pan American Airways saw aggressive growth under the watchful eye of founder Juan Trippe, or Trippe, I don't know how to say his name, establishing numerous important airline milestones. Pan Am was the first to connect North and South America by air, first to launch commercial flights across both the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, and the first to computerize its reservation systems. As pioneers of the jet age, Pan Am attained even greater popularity by making the world more accessible to the masses without sacrificing glamour. Today, people around the world instantly recognize the inimitable Pan Am name and recall its rich legacy. So we are all the founders of our own fledgling airlines trying to follow in the footsteps of Pan Am. And the way that we're going to do that is chiefly by buying stocks in Pan Am. The winner at the end of this game is whoever has the most stocks in Pan Am. But we are also going to be starting up our own airlines and like trying to scoop up routes from different destinations to around the world.
Great. Interesting.
Core concept that I want to talk about before we get into the structure of the game is claiming routes. When you claim a route, you're going to have to... No. You're going to use one of your airplanes from your fleet. Everybody starts with 2 tri-motor airplanes and 1 clipper. You'll see over on...
Clipper?
You'll see over on the this side of the board here. There's tri-motors, clippers, cruisers, and jets. In the early rounds of the game, we'll be able to get more of these than what we have. And later on, these will unlock for us to get aircraft that can travel further. These numbers indicate how far those planes can travel. That means you need an aircraft that can travel at least a distance of 2, so a clipper or a cruiser or a jet for that route. So, in order to claim a route, you're going to have an aircraft in your fleet that can travel that distance. You are also going to need to have landing rights at both sides of the route. Landing rights you can get in a couple different ways. If you have an airport at at the destination, you have landing rights there. If you have, everybody starts with 2 destination cards. Those are always going to be face up on the table. You'll have the ability to get more destination cards throughout the course of the game. Anytime you have a destination card, it goes face up in front of you. If you happen to have the destination in question, let's say I was trying to go between these 2 or something, and I have Honolulu, I have landing rights at Honolulu because I have that card. If you if you don't have that specific destination, but you have something in the same region, so it matches the color, you can discard that destination card. Let's go back over here. Maybe I'm trying to claim this route. I don't have Wake. I can discard the Honolulu card to get me the landing rights long enough to claim this route. If you have that destination, you don't have to discard it. You keep it, and you still keep those landing rights to maybe connect a different route later.
Gotcha.
But you can discard a card from the same region to get those landing rights long enough to place to claim the route.
Yeah, so that sounds like an end of game kind of Hail Mary.
Not necessarily. You might want to get routes early on, and you're gonna have a lot less cards early on.
How do you get more of these guys?
We'll get to that. You can also, the 4th way to get landing rights, you can discard 2 destination cards from the same region that aren't in the region that you're trying to claim landing rights for. So you could if you're trying to claim landing rights here, you could discard 2 Europe cards or 2 Asia cards.
But then you'll literally get that specific card?
No, you just get the landing rights there to claim this route.
Oh.
Why would you do 2 when you can just do 1 instead?
Because you don't have the 1 from this region.
Oh, it's 1 from the region.
It's 1 from the region,
4
2 from the same different region.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Okay. That is the core concept that I wanted to go over before we got into the shape of the game. Now, the game takes place over 7 rounds that span from 1927 through 1968, when the founder of Pan Am retires. Every round, there are 4 phases. The first phase is the event phase, where we will draw one of these cards and put it face up right there. So this section over here is all just flavor text. This is giving you some history. It's 1927. Pan Am was just founded. Airmail service connects U.S. to Cuba's first chartered airmail route opens between Miami and Havana. The first thing we're going to look at when we reveal an event card is the text here. That's going to say when whatever this text applies. This says at the start of the expansion phase. And the expansion phase happens at the end of the round, so the rest of that doesn't even matter yet. Cool. Next thing we'll look at is the stock price. If there's a number, we're going to set the stock price to that number. If there's an arrow pointing up or down, that means we increase the stock price by 1. Increase or decrease the stock price by 1. If it's an arrow, it'll be like a diagonal arrow. Obviously, stock price can't go below $3 per share. Can't go above $11 per share.
Interesting.
That's all that matters for the event card during the event phase. Then we move into the engineer phase. Everybody's got 3 engineers because it's a 4-player game.
Oh.
You would have more if there were less of us playing, but 3 engineers. During the engineer phase, this is the worker placement. So, familiar concept from a lot of Euro games. This'll determine what actions you get to take for the round. The first person to act, anybody from previous rounds who has engineers here, we go from left to right. They have priority access. Those engineers get placed first. They will have to be placed somewhere else. They can't go back there if they're already there. Then we go in turn order, starting with whoever has the first player token, which at the beginning of the game is supposed to be...
Huh? That's me! I win!
At the beginning of the game, it's supposed to be the last person who was on an airplane. Starting with whoever has that token, we take turns placing engineers at one of 5 places on the board. The airports, destinations, planes, routes, or directives. If you're going to go to A, B, or C, airplanes, destinations, or planes, there are bidding tracks. If nobody has placed an engineer, like say I want to go place an engineer on the airport bidding track. If nobody's placed anything here, I can place this at any one of these numbers. That is how much money it's going to cost me to take that action this round. But I'm bidding on taking that action.
The higher the number, the more expensive.
Higher the number, the more expensive. But if then Eric decides he wants to take an airport action, he can outbid me and go to a higher space.
So only 1 action can be done per thing?
Per bidding track, yes.
Son of a...
Only 1 person is going to get to take this action. There are 4 different bidding tracks for destinations.
That's cool.
There's going to be 4 different bidding tracks for airplanes. But once you get outbid, you get your engineer back. So you can then use it to outbid later or to use somewhere else. These are just, I can't remember what the terminology is. Those are not bidding tracks. Those are just going to get placed left to right. And then when we get to the resolution phase, which comes after all the engineers are placed, those will be resolved from left to right. Oh, you always have the option to pass if the only actions that are left are too expensive for you or just not interesting to you.
How many times do we go around? Like
until all of your engineers have been placed.
Oh, okay.
So if you get outbid, you get your engineer back. You'll get another turn. You'll get another turn to place it somewhere else. If all of your engineers have been placed already, your turn is skipped until everybody has either placed until everybody's placed everything they're going to place for the round. Then we move on to the resolution phase. Resolution phase. That's where we're gonna do all of this stuff. If you are the highest bidder on airports, you'll pay whatever the cost is. By the way, everybody starts with $12. If you're the high bidder on airports, you'll pay whatever your final cost was, and then you'll get to place an airport on any city on the board, which, as we discussed, will give you landing rights for that city. So that's a pretty valuable action to take. If you are the highest bidder on a destination, you'll pay that cost and you'll claim that destination card. It goes face up on the table in front of you. Once we've resolved all of the destination cards for the round, like all of everybody who bid here, once all of those are taken care of, any cards that weren't claimed are going to get $1 added to them, so that if somebody claims that in a future, or once somebody claims that, they'll also get the money that comes with it.
Okay. Well, incentive.
And then cards that were taken will get replaced from the destination deck. If you're the high bidder on an airplane track, you will get to fish through that hangar to find an airplane of your color and add it to your fleet.
And so when, like, if we were to bid here, that means that it's $6?
Yeah, that means it costs you $6 to buy
For a
that
clipper.
plane. These tracks are not available until for the cruiser. That will unlock at the start of round 3.
Oh.
The jet will unlock at the start of round 6. So the distance 3 and 4 routes do not matter until we get those planes unlocked.
Gotcha.
If you place an engineer on the routes track, that means that engineer you'll reclaim, and you will get to claim a route that you have landing rights for. So we discussed how you get landing rights.
You could really only pick this one.
Yeah, but you would have to have landing rights in both of these cities.
I do. I know.
So-
I know a couple people there.
Oh, forgot to mention, for every airport that you add to the board, you get to increase your income. Everybody's
I
income.
was gonna ask.
Everybody's income starts at 0. I put it at 1 on the score tracker. That was wrong. 0 is where your income starts. For every airport you place, you'll increase it by 1. For every route that you claim, you'll increase it by that much.
Oh.
That'll increase your income. So
I want a big fat jet.
claiming routes early is going to be a big deal.
But you have to, in order to claim a route, you have to
You have to have landing rights.
Wake.
You have to have landing rights at both of them. So you could have an airport at one. You could have the card for the other.
And when we haven't gotten airports yet, have we?
Airports, that's the first thing. You'll get to place an airport at any city if you're the highest bidder for airports.
So
So there's only one of these is going to be placed per round unless they come up through directive cards, which is the last thing. Everybody starts with one of these.
I'll look at it.
Yeah, you can look at it anytime. You keep it secret.
I'll
Keep it
look.
safe. But just to show an example of one, that's what they look like. The text at the bottom tells you when it's used. So this one would be during the resolution phase at the airport's step. That means before, during, or after that step is being resolved, you can claim that thing.
It's a one-time.
And it's a one-time use. You discard the card, you get whatever the card says.
do you get more?
Interesting.
You get more when you place engineers on the directives track.
Do I have a limit on my directive cards?
Yeah.
You do not, as far as I know, have a limit.
I like that.
Except there can only be 3.
I'm a stack.
There can only 3 people can, or only 3 engineers can be placed on directives per round. Also, with all the other tracks, once you've resolved it, you'll get your engineer back. With this track, you leave them there because those guys get priority access on the next engineer phase.
Yeah.
After we have resolved all of that stuff in the resolution phase, we move on to the Pan Am phase, where Pan Am expands their operations.
What?
So, looking back at this event card, there's a little text down there at the bottom that says expansion, and it has 1 cube under it.
You'll cube.
The number of cubes is how many times you're going to roll the expansion die. There's either going to be, there's 3 different types of routes that you could get 2 or 1 of, or there's the Pan Am symbol. And since Pan Am was founded in Miami, starting in Miami, you will look at the routes that show up there. Pan Am will expand along those routes from Miami. So that's going on a European route. They'll claim that route, and that's going on a Pacific route. So they claim this one. If someone has already purchased and then if that same face gets rolled again later, then they would claim the next one along that path, just following that track.
What is this pandemic?
It's basically they're buying
This is-
routes that
yeah.
we can't.
This is Pan
Oh,
Am
so
expanding
they're-
their operation, so they're buying stuff. They can purchase routes from us. If we have already claimed a route that they are now claiming, they're going to buy that route from us at this price over here, where there's a route bonus. So you're gonna get your plane back. That goes back to your fleet. Then you'll get this much money, depending on how long
That's
that
kinda
route.
So this
When your income stays up.
No, your income also goes down.
What the
You get a nice big hefty chunk of change
Not
for your
big
chunk.
hefty chunk of my ass. I don't like that.
So, and how do we decide Pan Am is taking things?
That's the die. This die gets rolled,
And that
they
is-
start in Miami, and then they go along the matching path.
So Pan Am always starts in
They
Miami.
always start in Miami.
Got it.
That's where they started in history. There is an alternate rule set where
Got
you
it,
can
got it.
play alternate history and start in Rome.
Ooh.
But that's
that
it.
seems very weird.
That's just to give you some added variability to the game.
So
If they roll the Pan Am symbol, then everybody I think you have the option or you have to sell any one of your routes to Pan Am.
what?
Pan Am offers to buy routes from anywhere in the world, starting with the first player. Each player may sell one route they own.
Is
to
it
Pan Am.
good to sell or bad to sell?
I mean,
It's an
You lose
immediate cash influx, but you
Uh-huh.
will lose income.
Yeah.
Got it.
Which, after this step, after we resolve that die, then you'll claim income. You'll get as much money as wherever your income is on the income track.
Huh.
And then we'll start the next round. After we, before we pass the player token and after we claim income, we can buy stocks.
okay.
Those are our victory points.
What? You didn't talk about no
I
stock?
completely forgot about that.
That's the way to win?
Yeah, so the stock price is set here. That's how much each share will cost. So you
Is
can,
that share?
yeah, that's one share. That's
Oh.
5 shares. So you can buy stocks. Also, if you don't have enough money to pay for whatever action you have become the top bidder on, you can sell stocks for $2 less than the current stock price. You don't want to do that, but that's a up.
Hmm.
If you still don't have enough, you sell off all your stocks, you lose all your money, and you don't get to take the action.
Hey, thanks for hanging out. If you want to spend more time with us, do us a favor. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and most importantly, head on over to twitch.tv/BNB Tabletop and give us a follow there. We play board games live every Sunday night at 5 p.m. Pacific Time on a show we call The Board and Barrel. And we like to keep things interactive. You guys can influence what happens throughout the course of a game with our Buff and Nerf house rules. You can also make predictions on how things are going to pan out, play virtual bingo for a chance to win a free board game of your own, and heckle us and stuff from the chat. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you Sunday night.